esteemed alumni members, Deemed Alumni Affairs Professor K.K. Khatwa, convener of this event Professor S.K. Patel, respected faculty members, staff, and invitees, a very good morning to all. We have now reached the last day of Diamond Jubilee Global Alumni Meet, and I'm amazed by the high spirits of our alumni for showing their continued interest and participation. It is my privilege to call upon the dais the invitees for Young Achievers Conclave. The first achiever to grace this occasion is Professor Suresh R. Das in the category of Academic and Research Quest, who is the Associate Professor in Civil Engineering, School of Infrastructure, NIT Bhubaneswar. Sir, please. Next, I'd like to request Mr. Kishan Agarwal in the category of Corporate and Industry Excellence, who is Group Vice President Engineering, Oracle USA. Sir, please. Next, I'd like to request Mr. Vaikunthnath Sahu, Public Administration, who is Assistant Registrar in IIT Jodhpur. Sir, please welcome to the dais. Next, I'd like to request Dr. Ronak Pradhan in the category of Corporate and Industry Excellence, Lead Technical Product Manager, Bajaj Finserv Health, Pune. Sir, please. I'd now like to request Mr. Swadhin Kumar Nayak in the category of Entrepreneurial Endeavor, Founder and CEO, Farmbook FCC Limited. Sir, please come to the dais. I think Swadhin sir is not there. Next, I'd like to request Dr. Preeti Sudha Meher in the category of Academic and Research Quest, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, NIT Arunachal Pradesh. Ma'am, please welcome to the dais. Next, I'd like to request Mr. Suman Rudra in the category of Arts and Culture, who is a choreographer at the first Bollywood Dance Academy, Greece. Please welcome to the dais. Now I'll take this opportunity to request Professor Archana Malik, Associate Professor, Department of Metallurgical and Materials Engineering, NIT Rourkela, the coordinator and moderator of Young Achievers Conclave, to come to the dais. It is my privilege to read out the citation for our guests here. I'll start with Professor Suresh R. Das. Dr. Suresh Ranjan Das has completed his BTech Civil Engineering from NIT Rourkela in 2003. After BTech, Dr. Das got MTech in Structural Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 2005 and further pursued PhD at the University of Oxford, UK from 2007 to 2010 with a very prestigious UK IERI scholarship. After his PhD, he worked at the University of Bristol, UK as a postdoctoral fellow from 2010 to 2011 and thereafter joined IIT Bhubaneswar, where he is presently working as an associate professor of civil engineering. Dr. Das has over 15 years of research experience in soil dynamics and earthquake engineering, and he has other research areas which include soil structure interaction in liquefiable soils, seismic analysis, and design of buildings, bridges, and pipelines. He has made significant contributions in bringing out a guideline for seismic design of pipelines. Dr. Das serves as a member of many national level committees related to earthquake engineering. Notably, he is the member of the Earthquake Engineering Sectional Committee of BIS and convener CED 39 Working Group on Seismic Design of Pipelines. He also served as a member of the B1 Committee on General Design Features, Bridges, and Grade Separated Structures of ISC from 2018 to 2021. Dr. Das has authored 75 research publications, which includes 1 book, 9 book chapters, 30 journal papers, and 31 conference papers. Sir, we are indeed privileged to have you here. Next, I would like to read the citation for Mr. Kishan Agarwal, who is the Group Vice President in Engineering, Oracle USA. Mr. Kishan Agarwal graduated in bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering in 2002 with academic excellence. He was awarded 3 gold medals, including 1 from Institute of Engineers India for being the best graduate of the institute. He joined Oracle Corporation through campus placement program and quickly rose through the ranks. Soon, he was offered to move to Oracle headquarters in California, USA, where he led several engineering functions. He took time off from work to earn his MBA degree from Wharton School of Business and graduated with honors. Mr. Kishan is currently a group vice president in Oracle, leading a large global engineering organization spread across 12 countries, delivering Oracle Cloud services. He is the global head of engineering operations for Oracle flagship SAS services and leads several strategic initiatives and innovation programs for Oracle in enterprise software engineering. He has one approved patent in US, is a lead member of Oracle's patent committee, and frequently presents in international conferences and participates in expert panel discussions. He is an active member and contributor to NIT Alumni Association. Sir, we are indeed privileged to have you here. Next, I would like to read about Mr. Baikunthnath Sahu, who is Assistant Registrar in IIT Jodhpur. Mr. Baikunthnath Sahu obtained his post-graduation degree in physics from integrated MSc from NIT Rourkela in the year 2016. Mr. Sahu has joined Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra, as Assistant Registrar in 2017 at a very young age of 22 years, and subsequently he joined Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur as Assistant Registrar in 2020 at the age of 26 years. Perhaps he is the youngest ever Assistant Registrar in the university system as well PAN IIT. Mr. Sahu was selected for crowdsourcing science tool, a citizen science endeavor to use Foldscope as a citizen science project under category C in 2000 by the Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India in collaboration with Prakash Lab, Stanford University, USA. Mr. Sahu is a life member of the Indian Society for Training and Development. In a short span of 6 years, Mr. Sahu has experience of handling portfolios like R&D, internal relations, alumni relations, corporate relations, internal audit, IPR, examination, academic administration, etc., and has demonstrated excellent perseverance and dedication to excel in the field of education administration by contributing significantly in the implementation of key reforms, best practices, and policy making. Sir, we are glad to have you here. Next, I would like to read about Dr. Ronak Pradhan. Dr. Ronak Pradhan has done his undergraduate in the year 2012 from Biomedical Engineering and PhD in Electronics Engineering from Nanyang Technology University, Singapore in the year 2016. He has been associated with Bajaj Finserv Health, Indus Action, and IntelliHealth to solve user needs by building products which solve access to education, healthcare in India. His work has been recognized and appreciated by Ministry of Health Singapore for building their aging and wellness program for the elderly in Singapore, National Health Authority, Government of India on contributing towards design of health stack and adoption for Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. He is a fellow of Social Innovation Immersion Program, Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. He has been felicitated as a founder leader within the entire Bajaj Finserv group of companies. He is an invited panelist for Max Planck Center for Innovation and Competition on data sharing practices for healthcare. He has also represented and demonstrated ABDM implementation on ground during Global Technology Summit G20. Sir, we are indeed privileged to have you here. Next, I'd like to read about Dr. Preeti Sudha Meher, who has completed her PhD in electronics from NIT Rourkela in the year 2015. She has published more than 60 journals and conference papers and 4 books during her industry and academic work. At present, she is working in the field of VLSI chip designing, bioinformatics, and Internet of Things. She has been awarded as Outstanding Woman in Engineering Award in the year 2018, conferred by Center for Advanced Research and Design at International Women Meet 2018. She has also been awarded as Most Distinguished Professor of Electronics at NIT Arunachal Pradesh in the year 2020. She has been awarded with Distinguished Female Educationalist of the year 2020-21, conferred at Brand Imperial Awards held in the year 2021. Her research has been awarded Best Research Paper in the year 2018 at International Conference ISIA Mauritius, and also in the year 2019 at ICISCC Bangkok. Dr. Meher has organized many technical conferences, workshops in India and abroad, including ESIC 2020 at NIT Arunachal Pradesh, which is recognized as the largest technical international conference and first Springer Conference of Arunachal Pradesh. Outside her academic work, Dr. Meher is also an NCC officer to train NCC senior wing girls of NIT Arunachal Pradesh. Ma'am, we are extremely pleased to have you here. Next, I'd like to read about Mr. Suman Rudra. Suman Rudra has graduated from NIT Rourkela in 2012 with an honors in BTech in Biotechnology Engineering. He went on to study contemporary dance at Athakalari Center for Movement Arts in Bangalore, where he graduated with a distinction in 1-year diploma program for contemporary dance and mixed media in 2013. He had curated a contemporary dance open elective at NIT Rourkela, which was added as a 3-credit course, the first of its kind in any engineering institute in India, where students could opt for a dance course as a part of their curriculum. In 2014, he auditioned and got selected at the National School of Dance, Greece. Suman Rudra was the first Indian to have been selected there, and he became the first Indian to receive a degree in the contemporary dance and pedagogy from the Greek Ministry of Culture in 2017. In 2017, he made headlines when he broke into the Greek television industry. He introduced the Bollywood dance in the program So You Think You Can Dance Greece and choreographed the semi-finals and grand finale of the show. In 2022, Suman, along with Anna Dimitri, artistic director of First Bollywood Dance Academy Greece, led their team into the finals of Greek Got Talent. They become one of the few Bollywood dance groups who made it to the finals of any Got Talent show. Suman created history to become the first to choreograph Alejandro Nell in the A Baroque opera, which is premiered in the Margaritaville Opera House, Beirut, which opened in 1748, which was added to the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. This opera has not staged ever in the last 300 years, and Suman was the first to choreograph it along with Indian dance moves. He made Baroque music meet Bollywood and vice versa. Suman is currently a teacher and choreographer at the first Bollywood Dance Academy Greece and the creative manager of the Bollywood and Multicultural Dance Festival in Athens, Greece, the biggest dance Indian festival in Europe. Currently, he is traveling and teaching extensively all over the Europe in various dance festivals and events and has taught more than 75 dance workshops. Suman, it is indeed a pleasure to have you here. Last but not the least, I'd like to invite the coordinator as well as the moderator of this conclave, Professor Archana Malik. Professor Malik is working as an associate professor in Department of Metallurgical and Materials Engineering at NIT Rourkela. She received her BTech degree from Indira Gandhi Institute of Technology, Sarang, Odisha in the year 2002 and MTech from Indian Institute of Technology, BHU, Uttar Pradesh in 2004 and PhD from National Institute of Technology, Rourkela in the year 2010. She has postdoctorate experience from University of California, Berkeley, United States. Professor Malik has also authored more than 70 international and national scientific publications. Professor Malik's research has been funded by different government agencies including CSR, BRNS, and Serve India. She has also handled several consultancy projects in industry with SAIL Steel India Limited and Tata Steel to deal with issues with corrosion. Professor Malik has been conferred with Young Scientist Award by Odisha Bigyan Academy for her significant contribution in science and technology. She is also a Fulbright Nehru Fellow, which is one of the world's prestigious fellowships. Thank you, ma'am, for having this. I would now like to request our volunteers to offer the flower bouquets to our guests. Please. I would now like to request Professor Malik to initiate the proceedings of the conclave. Ma'am, please.
Uh, Thank you, Amlan, for the kind words and taking all the pain to introduce our young friends over here. I'm really overwhelmed that I'm sitting with such big achievers, and in front of them, actually, I'm nobody. Thank you for coming and inviting, accepting the invitation from us to join us. Now, for today's discussion, we have put a topic that the key challenges of youth towards global competency. So when I say or we talk about competency, are these restricted only to academia, research, entrepreneur, or only into corporate? Are we beyond that? Is the young are thinking something else to do there and take as a profession? If you talk about particularly in Indian scenario, in Indian context, so there are three things which are really significant. The first one is the peer pressure. Maybe it's the unfortunate the craftsmanship of or the craft of our Indian society that all have to do something either in doctor or engineer banna hai, or you have to be in industry, and there's a blueprint in at this age you have to do this and at that. That's what the Indian society is that. And the youngs are actually a prey to that uh, society norm, what the Indian parents are thinking of. And the next one is that in this due course, so the drugs and alcohol and the social media pressure. Can they sustain that and still prosper and do what they want to? And the final one is your cost of education in Indian system. So if you see the public education what the India is providing, that is not at the par. So that's why the education is getting privatization and that are getting expensive. I'll just take a pause. So the final awardee of today's function is Swadhin. I must say Swadhin must have stuck some unavoidable situation, so that's why he joined late. Please welcome him, Swadhin. Please. My apologies that one of our awardees just joined us late. My apologies. Amlan, if I can request you to read out his biodata before we start. Amlan, are you around? Amlan? All right. Uh, Nothing less. I have Swadhin's biodata. Let me just read it out. Could you please just introduce Swadhin? I'm sorry for this. Yeah. It just takes a few minutes, then we will just start it. Swadhin is a very young and energetic chap, and he has done a very wonderful job. So we couldn't miss him actually. So yeah, Amran, please.
Thank you, ma'am, calling for appointment, and sorry for the interruption from the audience. Uh, Mr. Shwadin Kumar Naik is in the category of entrepreneurial endeavor. He is the founder and CEO of Farmbook FCC Limited. He is a 2018 mining graduate who joined Tata Steel and left the job to pursue his dreams. He is currently the founder and CEO of Tea Farm Private Limited, a farm flagship agri-tech startup of Odisha, which envisions to revolutionize the tradition farming industry with its soilless hydroponics vertical farms. Tea Farms has partnered with Department of Horticulture, API COI, SBI in its endeavor to revolutionize the farming ecosystem and has already clocked a revenue of 4 crores in 1 year. Sir, we are pleased to have you here.
Thank you, Amlan. Okay, so we will start now. Yeah, as I was telling, the today's discussion was the key challenges of youth toward global competency. So I have already introduced the topic. Let me, yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I'll start with you, Suresh. I'll just ask you to tell us about your journey. Then we will say, or we will go over the question and answers. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really very thankful for the organizers to put me on this dais. Perhaps this is the first time I could stand up or sit on this dais. I always used to be somewhere sitting in that bench enjoying what fun was happening here, all the serious things happening here. But I'm fortunate to be called as young and to be called here. My journey, if I wanted to share in a few lines, I must say that we get advice by many people at many fronts of our life. So we understood that there are many good things to do, but one cannot do all the good things in their life. So I stick to a few, and that is the key to what I am today, by sticking to some good habits and good encouragements and listening to some advices of the gurus who led us to a better path. Okay, and I must share one thing that from my experience I must tell to the audience or the students that I had a chance to go out of India only during my PhD, when I got a scholarship at Oxford University to do PhD. I was thrilled to go there and see how big people would be there in the #1 university of the world. Okay. After reaching there, I was feeling very shy to be counted as one of the members in that global university. But after few days, what I understood is that everyone is same in this world, having 2 legs, 2 eyes, 1 brain. Yes, there is slight here and there differences between the IQ, differences between how they do the things, but we are not inferior. Okay, so that has gone away within 10-15 days time. Our background is much stronger, though we are not very good at English, but that's just a language to communicate. Okay, nothing more than that. But our brains were much better than English brains available in big universities. They get big ranks maybe due to equations or many other reasons, but that's the one realization I had, that we are doing much better, okay, globally, although ranks are not reflecting that. Second thing what I understood is that a very even a philosophical thing that used to stalk to mind, why these English people has invaded us and why we could not do the same. Okay, but after reaching there, I feel pity on them, that they really don't have anything to survive. So when somebody doesn't have anything, they will look at stealing things from others. So it is not only the resources, but also the knowledge they took from the ancient literature of our country, and they feel proud about it and they promote it. For example, when I was doing PhD, one Russian guy sitting in Oxford University was discussing with us on a Sanskrit phrase, and he did a PhD on that phrase, Sanskrit one sloka on yoga, and they were marketing it, but we are not looking at our past or our glorious histories. Okay, so these are the things that we must bear in mind, that we are not at par, rather we are not getting the credit that we need at the global platform. There are other things to be done to get that credit, but we are doing great. Thank you.
Since you're talking about Oxford, let me just ask you, was Oxford as good as NIT or less?
It's better than NIT, and
Wow.
the difference I can tell you is that it's not different because of the knowledge, it is different because of the attitude. Okay, so that makes a difference, how people work, how people take things seriously which need to be serious, and how people take fun which need to be funny. So I found that difference in the way the things are being done. Okay, other than that, knowledge wise, NIT is much better than Oxford. If you have money, I can tell you that you have a place in Oxford University in some or other branches. May not be very elite branches, but there will be a place. You can see the minister's son goes to Oxford University to study business, law, administration. Okay, so there are places on that ground. Okay, if you have money, you can go there.
That's wonderful. We should be proud of us, right? Can we have a big round of applause for us, actually? Yeah. All right. To move on, Suresh, I do have a formal question. This will be helpful for, as per pertaining to the theme. Actually, what has helped you to get to where you are effective, and what advice would you have for others who want to set off a similar direction?
Okay, it's very big question. In fact, you have asked me. I can tell that there is no shortcut to success. Okay, we always need to do need to believe on hard work and perseverance. So, and we as a human being always try to find the best way so that it is comfortable to us. But unfortunately, the hard work doesn't have any replacement. So we must continue what we like to do, and that can lead to success. And uh, at a young age, we are confused about what we are doing is rather whether it is good or whether it will lead to me a better life or not. So for that reason, we must have a open mind, and very importantly, few gurus. I believe that the direction we get from experienced people are much better to shape our young age to take us to the next level where we are. Thank you.
That's wonderful, Suresh. Kishan, what is the best mechanical graduate contributing to in a software firm?
Excellent question. First, thank you for having me here. Such a great opportunity. I'm back in campus after 2 decades almost. I was just overwhelmed. Like, we're going around seeing, as for everyone else, right? It's always you feel like you are back to home, kind of, right? No matter where you'll be, this is always be your home. So, thank you for giving me that opportunity. Yeah, so how I ended up in software. So, yes, I did my engineering in mechanical, but I had done courses in robotics and other things here. And I think that time technology, information technology was booming, and I had other offers for like DRDO and others. But what software industry attracted me was the possibilities. Like, it was new, it was booming, and there was endless possibilities. You could see that that was the one technology, information technology was what going to change all the traditional industry. So that really attracted me to join Oracle, and that's why I started my journey.
Wonderful. Kishad, I do have it now, since we know that this is just because of the technology booming at your time, I will say at our time, so that's why we just jumped from mechanical or metallurgy or chemical or ceramic to IT. And when we talk about IT, this has to be do with the computers and with internet. The whole world with us internet. So I have a typical question on that. So what is the one thing that you have learned in this process of your accomplishment that you didn't know or couldn't find the answer on the internet?
Great questions. So I think I would say you can get on internet a lot of theoretical thing. Like, you can get a lot of subject matter knowledge about anything today. What you don't get is the experience and the executions, because when you are leading a large project, or whether you are in the corporate setting or in a entrepreneurial setting, until you start, you don't realize all the nuances, and you pivot at different points. You don't know that. You cannot learn that from internet until you dig in, until you start doing, because you may end up in a very different position from where you started. So no matter how much time you spend in internet and all, until you get your hands dirty in that, you don't learn. So and the internet and other, you get a lot of this information, but the key thing is always about the executions, right? So that's what you do by doing yourself.
So you are saying that the youngsters can live without social media?
Is that a question?
Of course.
Well, the social media has its own place, right? There are good things about getting information about things. You can follow a lot of good influencer and thought leader in the industry by following them. You cannot do that. You don't get opportunity to meet each one of them in a day-to-day basis, right? So I would say social media definitely had a place. Like you can follow, CEO of a large company, and you can get a glimpse of his thought process and view. That's where it helps.
Thank you, Kishan. That's wonderful, getting your views and all. Now, moving on, Vaikunta, I think he's one of these non-technical person who is sitting with us. I'm really happy and glad for you. Vaikunta, if you would not have this role, so who would you like to change roles with? Now you are with IIT Jodhpur as an assistant registrar, but if you would have not been that, so who would you like to exchange the roles with, if at all?
Yeah, thanks for this question, and this is the question actually asked to many youth. What you are achieved today, if you are not having that position, then what you would be. So before answering to this question, I just want to thanks NIT Rourkela for considering me as a young achiever, and my connection with this Bhubaneswar Behera Auditorium is very special because Professor Bhubaneswar Behera, who was the first principal of REC, he is from my district, Kalahandi, Bhavani, Patna. So I am from that district. So actually, to answer to your question, I would like to say I am not a post-driven person or position-driven person. I always believe we should believe in a process, and we should have certain goal and vision. In the process of achieving certain vision, like you may hold some position, without holding that position, you may not be able to contribute. Like say, now I am contributing in education administration as assistant registrar. But maybe you can say you would have having a different post in ministry, and you can contribute to education administration also. Maybe somebody is an administrative officer, maybe in state cadre or UPSC cadre, and he can contribute. But at the end of the day, what's really matter is whether you are able to achieve your vision or not. And the position like assistant registrar, this is a beginning position, and my vision is to actually contribute significantly in the field of education administration. What I have observed, like youth, you're talking about peer pressure and something. What I have observed in our education system, mainly this domain of learning is missing. Domain of learning, when I am saying, we only maximum 90% of learning is based on cognitive domain only. But affective and psychomotors we are not touching. Cognitive basically talking about brain, affective heart, and psychomotors is hand. Okay. So what I meant to say is like peer pressure, it comes when you are in any profession also, peer pressure will come. But if peer pressure come, that time, that is the only time you have to overcome from that. And nobody is going to help you in overcoming that particular pressure. So in our education system, what I have observed is we should give more emphasis on how people should actually learn in terms of affective and psychomotor domain. Whatever position, maybe today assistant registrar, or tomorrow I will hold some position in ministry. Maybe I am having some certain different dream also. Maybe I will fail in this process. I will have some different position. But what really matter for me is whether I am able to contribute in education administration or not.
Okay, so I do have a formal one with you also, Vaikunta. So why would an individual need a focused goal? And what are the long-term consequences if we ignore that? May it be administration, may it be academia. Why you won't need to have a focused goal?
Well, I am telling you one example. If you don't have a focused goal, then we will not reach our destination. Let's say you want to go somewhere and you don't know the path. Focused goal will always actually stick you in the path. I may be good at cricket, I may be good at many things, but to having excellent achievement in particular area, I need to concentrate on something. I may be multidimensional, maybe my passion is something, profession is something, but if we don't focus on one thing, like Sachin Tendulkar is a great cricketer, known as great cricketer, but during practice you might have seen him playing football, you might have seen him playing badminton, but most of his life he spent in practicing for cricket only. So what I meant to say is, without focus goal, it is very difficult to achieve the excellent in the vision. You may achieve your vision, there is no doubt. Like many cricketers are also there, they are doing well in cricket as well as hockey, and they have represented their country in many domain also. But like that is exception, like in inorganic chemistry exception exists. So these are exception, and like we should actually, without a focused goal, it is very difficult to achieve the excellency. So that is what I want to say in this question.
Thank you. That's indeed wonderful, Vaikuntha. We will get back to you, some of our audits of the institute. Okay, we are getting actually started. Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you, thank you. Now, coming to a very energetic young chap, it's Ronak. So, Ronak, since you're in health business, health is wealth or wealth is health now?
So, first of all, thank you for having me here. This has been a long journey. My grandfather used to work in the admin department here. My mother was born and brought up in this campus, and I've studied from this campus. It feels great to be back here. So I think both of them are important. I was reading an article the other day from someone who says, right now everybody invests in an SIP, right? Everybody essentially focuses on investing in an SIP so that we can grow our wealth to cut down the cost of inflation. But what everybody doesn't focus on is, so for example, an SIP in health as well. Like insurance is such an important component which helps you maybe recover the cost if you get admitted, but systematically investing in health is also important, let's say regularly going to a gym or working out, because if you're not there to essentially, if you're not having a good life, if you're not having a healthy life, we may not be able to live longer to enjoy the wealth that we have. So I believe both of them are very important.
My question was actually, if you do not have, nowadays particularly health issues and all thing, if you have, and that is getting expensive, right? So the question was, that's why, like, health is wealth or wealth is health. If you have money, then all you can go for the health situation. Is just
so similar to how, so my response to that would be similar to how we strategically plan for wealth creation, right? Like say today, 50 rupees today may not be 50 rupees
to the audience, like he is into a business who is actually, they are trying to go for, I think, cheap healthcare and all thing. You're trying to into that. So that's why I'm asking this one. Yeah.
So similar to how we focus on wealth creation, right? Like 50 rupees today may not be 50 rupees tomorrow. So it is very important to focus on essentially like covering your health expenditures and not just covering the hospitalization side of it, but focusing on two things. So essentially we call something as wellness, right? So wellness essentially focuses on covering the OPD side of things as well, which is, say for example, you have your lab test, doctor diagnostics, all of that covered together as a part of a plan itself, and also at the same time ensuring that you are focusing on staying fit. If you stay fit, eventually all of those expenses and will eventually come down.
Yeah, that's really good actually. Yeah, Ronak, I do have a formal one also. So what are the key success factors for those who are achieving success? So how do you know you're making progress?
So, two things which I follow personally in my life is, so there's this very famous TED talk by Simon Sinek, which is called the Why, What, How. So essentially why Apple became Apple is because they focused on creating excellence. So anytime I come up with a problem, so I think I go down to the why, what, how circle. If the why is figured out of why I'm doing what I'm doing, what and how can eventually be figured out, because there are so many people around who will be able to help you achieve what you want to. So I think focusing on why I'm doing what I'm doing, or for anybody for that matter, even focusing on why they are doing what they are doing is very important. And second is something, so there's this Japanese term called ikigai, so which is what you do, what you love, what you can get paid for, and what the world needs. So if you are able to reach a state where whatever we are doing or our life is at the intersection of these four. Then I feel that you know that you are prospering in a good direction, and eventually fame and money will follow. So what is important is I feel that pursuing your ikigai, it may take time. Not everybody is aware of their own ikigai at the first day itself. But something which has really worked for me is experimenting. With the skill set that I have, with the kind of people that I'm around, with the kind of mentors somebody pointed out, with the kind of mentors that we have, I feel that earning money is not very difficult. What is important is pursuing your passion, figuring out what your passion is, and doing an excellent job at it. If that is done, then money and fame eventually follows.
Very wonderfully said, Rorik. Thank you, thank you. Mining is farming or mining or farming, Swadhin?
Yeah.
I think it's now farming, right?
Right.
Why?
First of all, I would like to thank everyone for asking such a young guy to be in front of such a like powerful, very powerful audience, I guess. So I am a pass out of 2018 mining engineer, and before going into the question actually, so I would like to thank the whole ecosystem of NIT Rourkela to provide me to nurture a leader out of me actually. When I was here in NIT Rourkela, Archana ma'am was warden and SK Patel sir was chief warden up to then. So he might not remember me, but I was general secretary of Vikram Sarabhai Hall. Then before that I was FMS secretary. So in those roles, what happens in NIT Rourkela, it's not only your studies, it's the way of life which you learn. Okay, so NIT Rourkela has been like very it has promoted the leader which exists in me. So like I was a mining engineer. By degree, by qualification, I am a mining engineer only. So I joined Tata Steel. Then after I went on to pursue after leaving the job 1 year. Even Tata Steel have a great impact on me. So the salary of Tata Steel is the seed fund of my startup actually. So whatever I saved in my mining career, that was the seed fund for my first startup. So I have 3 companies. One is a tech-oriented software-based company, and second one is a agri-tech company, and third one is a farmer-producer company. So choosing a career into agri-tech from mining, it doesn't matter actually, because once you get a problem statement, so startup is not about creating a product then looking after where to fit it out. Startup is or it is not even about that, okay, I will not work under any boss or something like that. Even in startups or companies, the customers are the gods and you are the servants and nothing else. So startup or entrepreneurship is everything about solving a problem statement which exists, and that too at a scale. Like that problem statement should exist in a larger manner such that your impact will be larger. So choosing agri-tech, I chose agri-tech, even I was not experienced anything, I didn't know anything about agriculture. But after 2019, if you have a will, you can learn anything in this globalized world. So what I saw, agriculture industry is one of the biggest industry in the world and the most essential industry after pharmaceuticals. So but the problems which exist in the agriculture industry is not yet been solved, and it is the one of the untapped industry in the world. So not much of the companies or not much of the impact has been done in agriculture. So that's why I chose agriculture, and like right now we are working with 900 to 1000 tribal farmers in Koraput and establishing a processing unit for them in one company. In another company, see, the problem statements in agriculture are huge, like weather dependency of the farmers, then after unpredictability of the crops and production, then comes use of chemical pesticides, and the agriculture land is shrinking day by day. So all these problem statements motivated me to like adopt a technology which might solve the problems existing in the world and at a scale, as I already said. So then after I chose agriculture, and right now we are doing like my team is doing a great work. So this year we have clocked already 4 crores of revenue, and like we are setting up soilless hydroponic farms which is eliminating all these factors. And there are many NIT Rourkela alumni who are helping me, because like right now they are being my clients, and they have agricultural land, huge lands in different areas, and which is left unutilized and all. So like right now we are converting those lands into soilless farms, and we are generating a revenue, with generating an like work opportunities for the local people, and implementing the technology in Odisha's farming industry actually.
Okay. Yep. Isn't that great? Mining engineer, धरती खोदने से अच्छा है कि धरती बचाओ. Right?
Right.
Okay, to move on. So, what do we individuals need to do, inspire more people to embrace like what you have done? What should an individual do?
Simple thing, which the basic thing which anyone can do is to believe actually. Before some years, there was a notion in most of the Indians, like specifically the type of mind, that okay, we are a smaller हम लोग बहुत छोटा आदमी है, हम लोग गरीब देश है, हम यहाँ क्यों जन्म हुए हैं, हम क्यों नहीं अमेरिका में जन्म हुए, like all those things. But since few years there has been a transition in that mindset actually. Just like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, there has been another transition in mindset that okay, we are far more capable than other citizens of other countries actually. Even the government is believing in the youth of today, even the ecosystem is believing. So what as an individual we can do is that whoever is there in our surrounding, let us take a case that I am a professor. I should believe my students, okay, he also can do wonders actually. So we should not restrict a lot of people. Like NIT Rourkela, during our time there was a lot of freedom, and during your time there was far more freedom actually. So you have whatever you have become. Right. So slowly the restrictions are coming up. Obviously some restrictions are good, but we need to give the freedom to pursue a person. Like what an individual can do is that first find its own passion, whatever he likes to do or what he should pursue, that goal should be defined actually. Then after he can jump into and like work hard to pursue that one. So as an individual, what we can do is to believe our counterparts and other colleagues.
Very well said. Very well said, Swadan. Now we have the two states NIT lady. She loved NIT so much that after graduation she stayed with NIT as well. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Priti Sudha. Priti, what is the sweet point between safer future and life is only once?
Actually, first of all, I want to thank the jury member who have selected me to be here. And I am very much thankful to NIT Rourkela that, and I am very happy and feel very much proud that I am an alumni of NIT Rourkela. Now I am a professor of NIT Arunachal Pradesh. I am working as assistant professor at NIT Arunachal Pradesh in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. But and I have also visited lot of many other NITs. But the work culture, means infrastructure, whatever I have seen in this NIT, I didn't really find in any other NIT. And the NIT is actually a system. It is a very big learning hub where I could find a lot of thing in myself, and this system has made me so strong that even I, most of the place I lead in my NIT also. And they also respect me so much that I have come from NIT Rourkela. And thank you so much, madam, for calling me here.
Pleasure, Prati. So, what are some of the ways people from your field are making a difference in the world? You know, what are some of the ways people can make from your field?
See, in my field, actually, I'm actually working in this VLSI design and all. And now all the system, everything, VLSI means actually the chip designing. And this chip is now inbuilt in every system, every sort portable system chip is there. But still and every system what is being developed nowadays, and that comes from this chip only, and the chip is inbuilt there. But still I can say this in India, this new education policy has come, right? And in NITs, our NIT is the first NIT in Northeast who has implemented an NEP this year. And we have we are taking the classes in new NEP system, new educational policy system. And like sir told that, was telling about Oxford University. Yes, Oxford University is having more money, and it may be having better infrastructure than our NIT, sir. But was it better than Nalanda University? And we had that. We had that Nalanda University, which has been destructed by some foreigners, right? And we have that Matru Bhasha, that Sanskrit language. The Sanskrit language, आप सोच सकते हैं, मैं अभी हिंदी में बात कर रही हूँ तो लोग सुनते नहीं हैं. आप पता है हिंदी में जाके बड़े बड़े जगह में आप हिंदी में बात करने लगोगे ना, लोग सोचेंगे बेवकूफ़ है, ठीक है. लेकिन आप इसलिए मुझे सुन रहे हो बिकॉज यू नो दैट आई कैन स्पीक इंग्लिश, दैट्स वाई यू पीपल आर लिसनिंग मी इन हिंदी ऑल्सो, एंड दैट इज़ द ट्रूथ एक्चुअली. एंड संस्कृत, वॉट एवर, संस्कृत वॉज अ लैंग्वेज. हाँ, एक संस्कृत ऐसी लैंग्वेज है जिसमें शब्द रूप, धातु रूप, ये सब का वर्णन सिर्फ एक ही लैंग्वेज में है, जो कि एक संस्कृत है. सिर्फ उसी में ही है शब्द रूप, धातु रूप, और करोड़ों एक शब्द, एक धातु मीन्स एक वर्ब, धातु मीन्स एक वर्ब, उसका बहुत सारा फॉर्म है जो कि सिर्फ संस्कृत में ही पाया जाएगा. इसी और जो कि एक इंडियन लैंग्वेज है, ठीक है. आप लोग गए होंगे, आप लोग गए होंगे, सब लोग थाईलैंड गए होंगे ना. बहुत लोग सोचते हैं कि थाईलैंड तो बहुत चिप है, वहाँ पे जाके घूम कर आते हैं, फॉरेन कंट्री है, घूम कर आते हैं. आप थाईलैंड में लैंड करिए, बैंकॉक के सुवर्णभूमि एयरपोर्ट में लैंड करिए. सुवर्णभूमि एयरपोर्ट में लैंड करने के बाद आप पहले एक आप जाएंगे तो जो एक पट्टचित्र वहाँ पे चित्र है, ठीक है. वहाँ पे बढ़ने एक मतलब मैप दिया हुआ है, ठीक है, जहाँ पे कि आपका अफगानिस्तान का पुरुषपुर से लेके उसी मैप में अफगानिस्तान का पुरुषपुर से लेके जापान का पापुआंगनीस तक एक मैप में दिखाया गया है, ठीक है, एक मैप में दिखाया गया है. और उसी के नीचे लिखा हुआ है आपका भारत जो सभ्यता था, भारतीय सभ्यता, उसी के नीचे लिखा हुआ है. और उसी के नीचे बैंकॉक के लोग, मतलब थाईलैंड के लोग लिखे हुए हैं कि वी फील प्राउड टू बी पार्ट ऑफ इंडियन कॉन्टिनेंट. किसी ज़माने में भारतीय सभ्यता के एक पार्ट होने के कारण हम लोग गर्वित महसूस करते हैं. वो लोग गर्वित महसूस करते हैं, हम नहीं करते क्या? वो लोग गर्वित महसूस करते हैं कि वो इंडियन कॉन्टिनेंट के पार्ट थे. और हम उसी समय में जो चल रहा था आपका संस्कृत लैंग्वेज, उसी समय में पूरा ये एरिया जो आपका पुरुषपुर से लेके पापुआ न्यू गिनी तक मैं बोल रही हूँ, वो पूरा एरिया जो था ना, वो पूरा एरिया में संस्कृत एक राजभाषा नहीं था, एक लोक भाषा था उस टाइम पे संस्कृत. और हम लोग अब उसको छोड़ के हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, अंग्रेजी में जा रहे हैं, जो कि एक 5वीं शताब्दी की एक लैंग्वेज है, ठीक है ना. लेकिन हम भूल जा रहे हैं कि हमारी सभ्यता क्या थी, हमारी सभ्यता क्या है, वो हम भूल जा रहे हैं. और मैं बोलूँगी कि उसी सभ्यता में आइए और देखिए कि हम लोग क्या थे. मातृभूमि मातृभाषा रे ममता जाहृदे जमन्नमी नाही, ताकू जेबे ज्ञानी गणरे गणिबा अज्ञान रहिबे काहीं. ये लिखे थे कवि गंगाधर मेहर ने लिखा था, गंगाधर मेहर ने लिखा था जी. स्वभाव कवि गंगाधर मेहर ने 19वीं शताब्दी की जो है वो लिखे थे.
Okay, thank.
Thank
So, as we just learned from Preeti, so the one of the major or significant responsibility of a youth is also to spread our culture across the globe, right? Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Suman, was engineering so pathetic that you left and chose dance as a career and passion?
Okay, so before I get to that, let me just tell you what kind of a surreal feeling this is to be sitting right here, because 2009, this is where it all started, right on this stage. BBA was still under construction and I had my first performance here, and by the way, she had played a very important role in my journey as well, because she was the faculty advisor of our dance club, the Mavericks, that we set up, and she was the one who invited me here as well. So it's like a full circle for me here, and I feel honored to be sitting in front of you all and sharing the stage with these wonderful achievers. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah. So about engineering being so pathetic, not really, to be honest. I think the irony is I'm not even sure if anybody knows what being an engineer is. Like, I think as Swadhin said, like, it was more than the studies, the lifestyle which you learn here. And most of the people who come here, I mean, I hope I don't offend anyone, but when we talk about engineering here, it's not about being the engineer, it's about the package, which is the topic of discussion. A dream company, a dream placement, a super dream placement. The discussion which I heard since my first year from all the seniors and even after I left was always about what job are you going to get. It was not about what Swadhin was talking about, like solving a problem, addressing something, creating something. I think there are people who were doing it, but I'm just talking about a vast majority. So I could not connect with that, but the reason why I chose dancing was because I was going through an emotional crisis during my stay here in my first and second year, and dance helped me. It was kind of a therapy for me. And SAC, the Student Activity Center, was still under construction, I remember. And that is where I started practicing, and it just, I lost track of time. And so I just decided that I want to do something in my life which would make me lose sense of time. And with the Mavericks, my dear classmates and my batchmates, we created out of love. We would sit at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, no dinner. We would be just brainstorming about ideas, about choreographies. Our debut performance in NIT Rourkela, we won the first prize in the group dance competition. The Mavericks became the first time NIT Rourkela won the dance competition in IIT Kharagpur. It had never been done before, the group prize, the first prize. So a lot of things, and I mean, for me, it's I understand it's a difficult thing to comprehend, the passion, but I believe for me it's just in relation to time. Like, when you are really passionate about something, you are totally engrossed in it. You dream, you sleep while you're eating, while you're doing anything. It's always in your mind. Maybe if you can relate, if in your school days, if you were obsessed with something, or even now if you are obsessed with something. So that is what it was, and it still is. So I am fortunate for that. Yeah.
Very well said, yeah, Suman, I would say. So how was the approach to leading a successful professional career, maybe academia or into dance or arts or sports, has been changed in the past 5 years? And would you predict that what will happen in next 5 to 10 years? More people will go to dance, or more people will go to this non-academia or some other profession? How do you predict that?
All right, so I think if we try to jot it down into 2 points, the first point would be the scenario itself is changing. It's rapidly progressing. Like, when we were dancing, we had YouTube videos 240 pixels only. We didn't have any HD quality videos. We would rarely get that. We didn't have high-speed internet. But now I see like people moving around with their smartphones, making TikToks and reels in every street and every corner. And to be honest, like, one of the reasons why I left India was because back then the culture of dance was just budding. Like we still don't have like full bachelor's or master's courses in dance, except Indian classical dances. But now when I see the level of dance in India, it's unbelievable. Like the world of dance was won by an Indian dance crew, the Kings. They created that choreographer. He won the Emmy for Best Choreography Award, which is unbelievable. And it has never happened in the global stage. And also America's Got Talent was won by Indian dance crew. So I can see that this is just going to go on. So the scenario is very, very good. But the second point which I want to make is the same thing which I face, that there is, like, as an individual and as a society, but actually it is becoming better, to be honest, but as an individual and as a society, I think if we deconstruct it to its very core, what we find is fear. So fear is the only thing that matters. You have fear to even think about making a decision before you even make a decision. And if you make a decision to act on it, it's just fear in every step of the way. I'm sure every one of us have encountered some or other sort of fear in our life, and which has stopped us from going ahead. Now you can be very brutally honest with you that I'm afraid of failure and say it to yourself and you don't do that, or you can find an excuse by saying, maybe this or maybe that, yeah, but maybe this is better than that. So the choice is yours, but at the end of the day, if you have an honest conversation with yourself, you will find that in the base of it is fear. So what I'm trying to say here is that now, like, since I left NIT, which was like almost 10 years ago, I saw many people crossing that barrier, and I wish we had them with us today, but two of my juniors, like, they were, I think they were in the Heartbeats band, and I don't know if you have heard about this Hollywood movie, an Odia movie called Pratikya, which was just released like a month ago. You would be surprised to note that the music directors are alumni of NIT Rourkela, and they were in the Heartbeat band, so I know them personally. They're dear friends of mine. So, and many other people who have crossed that barrier. So the point I'm trying to make is that the scenario is becoming more conducive for everyone, but we, like, as individual, you have to step up to cross that line, and as a society, as families, we need to encourage. One of our fellow panelists was saying that you have to support and empower and believe in other, your colleagues or your students. But I would also say that you need to have an eye to observe and spot them first. Like, why does it always happen that the Olympians become famous only after they win a medal? Nobody knows their name before they win the gold medal. It's because they are never spotted. It's only until you prove yourself that you get the attention which you should have gotten way before. But I believe that if we remove that fear and we actually believe that someone is capable of something, I urge you, in your field, if you find that someone has that potential, which is not something that you like, or being very objective, and if you just support that person, a lot of things can happen. Yeah. So next 5 years will be amazing. The scene is set. It just depends on the individuals if you want to go up there. Yeah.
Yeah, very well projected, Suman. Now we will take a couple of questions from the audience, if any, and we'll just end up. Yeah. Sure. See, these are the youngs. The awardees are going to give the mic, so that's where the India is. Thank you, Radak.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm really delighted to see the young ones today, and all the conclave have been really nice. But this is the youngest group, being moderated by none other than ma'am. So my question to two persons only. I will not ask too many. I will just ask two questions. First, to the healthcare side, you said that you're in the healthcare, and it's definitely important. And health is wealth, as we know right from the childhood. So now what is happening is government is also giving a lot of focus with regard to health, and some sector of the people, they are getting the privilege of getting the advantage of health with regard to the lower strata of the people. But some middle class people, they still don't get the opportunity. And somebody also said that it is costly. She only said. So how do you moderate that? That how it could be cheap? Because there has been many education system also that in hospitals, hospital administration is a full-fledged, master's course. So how do you define that, and how do you see in future that how do we get the medical as a whole should be cheaper in a corporate sector? Corporate medical sector I'm talking about, not the government which is giving. Can you please answer it?
I'll narrate an incident which just happened like a couple of days back. My mom had gone to Hyderabad for, so essentially she had, her bones have gotten weak, right? And so we went there to essentially talk about, we essentially went there to see if her Mediclaim can be utilized, right? And the moment we spoke about Mediclaim, the person was sitting there, the TP essentially, who files in the insurance papers on behalf of the hospital. Essentially, for a simple, like just a bed, she quoted the price 4 times. For a normal medicine, she quoted the price 5 times. A lot of it is happening because today the Apollos and the Manipals, right, they have corporatized healthcare to such an extent that the moment they see that there's an insurance component to it, bas 5 guna, 10 guna price laga do, because that is how they gain revenue out of it, right? So, 2 things which I see fundamentally changing the way healthcare will operate in the next 4 to 5 years, and this is actually a very interesting time to be in healthcare, even as an entrepreneur or someone trying to contribute by themselves. Is because the government is essentially trying to digitize the entire healthcare ecosystem, right? So what is happening is there's this mission being driven by Prime Minister Modi, which is called Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, where, if you are aware, last week, the government started rolling out incentives for hospitals, for small clinics, for doctors to digitize their records. So it is 25 rupees per hospital and all of that. So one initiative, one flagship program as a part of that is called the Health Claims Exchange. So what Health Claims Exchange does is it's more like UPI, where the insurer and the hospital and the patient can directly talk to each other using any healthcare application, and then eventually transactions to flow through. So what will happen as a part of that is these kind of incidents that I just described, right? Where healthcare is getting expensive, where I get billed 4 to 5 times of what I should actually be paying, will come down with digitization. So that is one. Second is for people like as you rightly pointed out, like the government is giving 5 lakh free insurance to the very poor. The top notch are covered by their own private insurers. But for people like me, I pay 30% tax to the country for what? Matlab, I pay 30% tax yet I don't get any benefit, right? So what will happen is I foresee that in the next 2 to 3 years, with digitization coming in, a lot of these OPD insurances will start coming, which will be provided not by the government, not by the top end insurers, but more like the Aditya Birlas and the Manipals and the Bajaj Finserv Healths. So these kind of insurers will essentially come and start insuring your OPD. So that is when, with digitization, with proper cataloging, with OPD insurances, that cost will come down for people like us.
Thank you very much for explaining.
Can I add something?
Sure, please.
So, because this is one area I'm also personally involved. So, one of the major costs in healthcare is research. And if you see, the entire industry is fragmented. Today, there is central databases for credit card information. Where you spend, what you spend, all the companies know. But if you go from one hospital to other, you have to carry all your records and all. So, my company has been working on a global healthcare database worldwide. It is already approved by United States and few other countries. The idea is it will store healthcare of the entire population of the world in an anonymized format. Think about, there is a COVID case in some part of the world, how fast it will make the research on that, because within that database you can correlate what were the symptoms, what part of the world, So we just getting started on that. We already have, so that is one area where it will reduce both the administrative cost as well as the research cost for new medical drugs and other things.
Thank you very much for answering my second question to my young man, 2018 batch, who is working on agri-based. Oh, sure, please.
It is a known truth that most of the doctors gets a cut money of 20 to 30% of the cost of the medicines. It is, everybody knows it. That money comes from where? Because the manufacturer gives it. How they are able to give it? Because they have that margin. What is the government's effort or the association effort to cut that money? So that let them take the money for the research work. Otherwise there is no development. But even after taking the money for the research and administrative work, they must be having a margin of more than 60%. And it is intolerable by the poor people like us. I have suffered. That is one. Second question is, there are a number of doctors who goes for unnecessary tests. Is there your database going to develop that to catch that doctor when an undeveloped, unrequired test is being conducted, advised by the doctor? Because when a patient goes to a hospital, whatever the doctor says, he is going to do it. Number three questions. The more the reputation of the corporate sector, the more corrupt they are. I am seeing the topmost corporate in the medical sector are most corrupt. I can show you the proof with me also. So how to address those questions, sir?
My view is, I think the transparency will help address those questions. So once we have the information, we need to be careful there. We want to be careful about personal information. I don't want anybody to know about my personal data and all, but if it is in an anonymized format, to your question, doctors are prescribing unnecessary tests. But if you have a central database, then you can see that, okay, for this treatment, in this location, these tests were done and were effective. We don't have that today. It is very fragmented. So if we bring, and that is why technology is important, it brings that transparency to people, to the medical staff, everybody. So this kind of central system will bring consistency, bring transparency, and drive the cost down.
Yeah, that's true.
Just
And yeah, please.
US has already moved the FHIR way. FHIR is fast healthcare interoperability resources. India is also trying to adopt those standards, and the focus is to move towards evidence-based care. Right now, like because the way our current system is, we treat doctors as gods. Ki jo bhi wo bolenge, people just do it, right? So the idea is to also, with digitization, the idea is to also move towards evidence-based care, so that the more and more data for a patient that gets generated. And so we have a concept of a health locker which the government is trying to introduce, where basis your Abha, which is a Ayushman Bharat health account, you can essentially link your account to any digital record that is being generated in the health ecosystem. So as and when more data starts coming in from a patient level, the idea is to move towards from a event-driven healthcare to a value-based healthcare, where essentially based on the data. So there are a lot of companies like in Europe essentially today, who do essentially basis your medical condition, they can give you broad diagnosis. So one of the problems which also exists today is for doctors to not digitize is it takes a lot of time, right? Because that's a fundamental change in the behavior, the way they operate. So the idea with capturing more and more data from a patient side is also to move towards evidence-based care, so that eventually doctor ka bhi time bache. So if I'm able to enter in my symptoms and get a basic provisional diagnosis, right? I know like there are companies who can essentially help me get medicines also. So building that entire connected care ecosystem is what is the focus on which digitization, which I will foresee in the next 4 to 5 years.
So basically you say that
Prabodh, I'll just interrupt. We will be just taking the last question because we are just pressing on the time.
Oh, sorry.
And I see a lot of enthusiasm.
Okay.
We will interact with them later on.
The last question to you is, you said about soilless agri-based, you have already started in Koraput. So as she said, we'll discuss outside. But my question is, how fast it is propagating to other districts and how strong the database is so that one can start immediately. So that you please see, then we'll discuss outside the auditorium. Can you please see that?
Thank you, sir.
See, I don't have any question, but the point is that this data, I am 76 plus and I am digital ignorant. But we had a Perry, you may be knowing, Perry has started a master's course here, Data Analytics Center. And with North Carolina University, there was, and then healthcare data system, they had made chief minister and they had agreed and all that. Something had proceeded, and after 2 years it was found that this institution of the graduation course was not taken approval by board. Therefore, instead of going for ex post facto approval, then that has been stopped. Because you are all alumni and this is digital era, please look into this. And if possible, if you feel that it is necessary, this course has to be restarted because we will be then pioneers in starting this course. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Last question. Kumar sir, like Swadhin has not answered the last question. Let him just answer it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. So right now, the soilless farming, which we have started and at a commercial scale. So we have 2 live farms right now. One is in Sundargarh only, Hemgir block. Another one is in Koraput. And other 10 projects are coming up in all over Odisha, like in Dhenkanal, in Kamakhya Nagar, in Ganjam. And we are even working for establishing such farms for SHGs. Because there's a huge support by the government of India and government of Odisha also, because they are providing collateral free loan at 6% interest for this type of agriculture. Then after there's a 50% subsidy of Odisha government. So in every way the atmosphere is highly conducive for this type of high scale and this type of companies and projects and all. So we are looking that within 5 years period of time, we will be able to convert 1,000 acres into soilless farms. And thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Very good morning, all of you. Myself, Kumar Behera. So I was a technocrat, and I am thrilled to ask and interact with you because 3 of my brothers all are talented, contributing equally for the growth of the nation. One is health, another is farming, another is dance. And I was a technocrat, now I am concentrating in this area. Why I tell you, the healthcare. Sir, we are talking big things, but you feel pride that Mandia is one of the best product, create a wave in the Western. Prema madam, she has been gone to Paris. And SHG, it is a story, the success story. And yesterday, Aradhana was telling, they have converted from, that is Raj Mistri to Rani Mistri. There's so many stories are there, my dear brothers. You are working in this healthcare, you are working in farming, and you are working in this cultural development, they are dancing, which is the prime factor which will change the total life cycle of Odisha, India, and making impressive throughout the globe. Moment you are taking Facebook, opening Facebook, we are thrilled to see the glory of NIT, your involvement. I am a technocrat and I am also proud alumni of this organization. Sir, mushroom is another factor. With a small effort, we can give all nourishment to a baby. And it was declared by Modi Sahab as well as Chief Minister Sir, the Madhyana Bhojan will be replaced by mushroom. Because that is the food contains everything. The best food for mother, best food for the child, best for the future, having no adulteration or anything. So your idea in this concentration, we are working in that. And actually government is also supporting, and this SHG group through different NGOs, because I am working as an International Human Rights District President, and luckily having interaction with this almost all down privileged SHG Maj. And you will happy to know 18,000 SHG Maj has been developed. Out from that, there have been 18 beauty expert who has been awarded. My dear friend, in so far farming is concerned, Asutosh has done a great support to providing solar energy. And my request, please contribute positively and whatever research you have done, make it propagate. It should meet to the ground zero level. That is the challenge of the day through us. We are engineers, we are rich people, we are very egoistic to go to the street, to the bastis. There lies the talent. So far this talent is or dance is concerned, those NGOs or organizations in Rourkela, they have created really talent from the very remote areas. They are dancing, they are creating a wave in globe. I am proud of you. 3 areas, all my brothers and sisters, we are doing excellent in normal course of life. Please add your value, make it to reach to the zero level. No leg pulling, no samachona. Please let us concentrate and we will achieve it. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
I think we will be just taking the one last question. So by sincere request, last question please. Yeah, Pari sir, this is the last question. Yeah, the last question. And please stay back inside the BBA so that, when we will be presenting the awards to our young friends, we'll cheer them up. Please stay back.
Yeah, I'm sorry I joined a little late, but it was a very interesting session, which I missed part of it. I have only very specific questions and answers will be quite immediate. First is that we understand that we are doing a lot of things in digitization of healthcare system. But I find the people who are the little lower in the societal structure, they are really not aware of such things being happening around. So what is the contribution of this all these panelists or whoever it is, how to bring it to the general mass, the awareness that digitization is going to help and how they can contribute to the digitization and all embracing health ecosystem. That is my one question. Second question is that it's great that if somebody, one panelist told that what I understand that one must find it his own or her own ikigai. That is very important. And is our institution, great institution NIT Rourkela, doing something very specific and out of the way for facilitating the people, the students, to find their own ikigais. We should have more Chetan Bhagats. We should have more Parikars. We should have in every system. When you look up to doing something different, services. So is our NIT Rourkela, Madam can tell better I think, doing something to discover the ikigai for each person instead of his own finding it itself, this facilitation. So kindly answer with these 2 questions and that's all. It can be very brief also.
So a very good example that you brought out, right? Like I wanted to be a civil servant growing up, but then when I started working, I did my PhD, I wanted to come back, contribute to the public society in India. And while working with an NGO, I started my job in the domain. Where I realized you can contribute equally to the country's growth on the opposite side of the and there are so many like profit sector being structured now. Many good organizations like NITI, Digital India, the Government of India, like everyone is essentially promoting young professionals to come and experience how government works and contribute to that ecosystem. So that I feel that being outside the ecosystem also, you can contribute equally to the country's growth. And I would like, from my perspective, I realize that the more and more people have these kind of experiences, the better it gets. Because that is when people understand and realize how much you can contribute to not just contributing, sitting in a cubicle and contributing to the limited customers that you have, but to a larger scale beyond the country.
No, my question was about the creating the awareness among the general mass.
Okay. So among the general mass, again, like one thing which I have observed is, so there needs to be more public-private collaboration, right? Public-private collaboration is the way forward. So even when UPI got launched, right, the awareness of UPI among the fact that even a pawn shop in Rourkela today has a UPI QR code, that will only come with public-private collaboration. So public-private collaboration joined with NGOs, right? So right now we are doing a pilot with a global healthcare organization called PATH, who is working with an NGO in ground on Bombay to drive awareness about Abha account, to drive awareness about importance of digital records. And those are the models which need to be replicated across the country. So for example, even in, say if I go to RGH, I come from Rourkela itself, if I go to a government hospital in RGH, So there also, so if I'm not sure if you're aware, but the government of India has essentially launched these QR codes to digitize the OPD registration workflow. So earlier, if you were to go to AIMS as a hospital, AIMS में आपको मतलब 4 घंटे लाइन लगाना पड़ता था, right? There are volunteers from different organizations there who essentially pitch the same idea that अगर आप अभी 4 घंटे लाइन पे लग रहे हो, आप ये QR कोड स्कैन कर दीजिए, you have a smartphone, I will help you scan a QR and within 15 minutes your appointment will come, right? So such kind of initiatives, and AIMS Bhubaneswar has also started it, but AIMS Bhubaneswar में the volumes are still lesser because Delhi being Delhi, वहाँ पे volunteers available are more. So those kind of public-private NGO collaborations need to be set up so that even, for example, for someone who is coming from a tribal village in Sundargarh, right, he also may have a smartphone. Most of us have a smartphone today, right? So even if they are coming, making them realize the value कि तमे लाइन रे ठिया हिचा तमको घंटे लागुची तमे बस गोटे QR कोड स्कैन करो तमे तमारा 5 मिनट अपॉइंटमेंट आछिबो. So those kind of things essentially need to be established with public-private collaboration, which is when the true value of like healthcare digitization, any digitization for that matter, will come to light. So the government of India, if you are aware, is also doing this open credit enablement network, because we talk about G20. I saw the poster of G20 outside. So India's story is digital public goods, right? India's story is how can we use Aadhaar. Aadhaar is being adopted in some 10 countries today, right? Similarly, UPI is being adopted in France, Europe, all across. So India's story is the digital public good. But for digital public good to actually reach the masses, more of these public-private NGO collaborations essentially need to be done, so that even a person coming out of Sundargarh to Rourkela General Hospital, wanting to get an appointment, wanting to get a healthcare service, more of these models need to be set up so that the true value is realized.
Okay.
Thank you, Ronak. I think Ronak has partly answered my part, I think. And the rest, I will definitely answer that, sir, off the stage.
Okay, that's great.
We are actually pressing time.
Okay.
So thank you. Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dear dignitaries and coordinator ma'am, that was really an invigorating session. I do guess that there will be a lot of experiencing factors and takeaways from this session. I would like now to invite Professor Kisanjit Kumar Khatwa, Dean Alumni, Industry and International Relationship, to come to the dais and offer the token of appreciation to our young achievers. Sir, please.
Yeah, so we are at the end of this session, and the time is to felicitate our young achievers who are with us. So I'll start with Professor Suresh Ranjan Das. Sir, please. Yeah, big round of applause for them. He has got the award in the category of Academic and Research Quest. Thank you, and congratulations, Suresh. Now next is Kishan, Mr. Kishan Agrawal, and he is in the category of Corporate and Industry Excellence. A big round of applause for him. Congratulations, Kishan. Next we have Mr. Baikuntanath Sahu in the category of Public Administration. A big round of applause for him. Congratulations, Baikuntha. Thank you. Now we have Dr. Ronak Pradhan in the category of Corporate and Industry Excellence. So please. Congratulations, Ronak. Now we have Mr. Swadhin Kumar Naik in the category of entrepreneurial endeavor. Congratulations, Swadhin. Now we have Dr. Priti Sudha Meher in the category of academic and research quest. Many congratulations, Priti. Now we have the last but not the least, Mr. Suman Rudra in the category of sports, arts and culture. Thank you all. Can you have a pose for the group photograph? I would also like to invite Professor Patel to come up the dais. Ashok. Yeah, sure, sir, please.
First of all, my apology for an forceful entry. Friends, I mean, all of us have seen 3 conclaves, you know. To be honest with you, I was listening all the conclaves, like all of you, with rapt attention. And it gives me immense pleasure to say that if I am treated as a judge, I would say that that is the best conclave of almost 3. And please don't, I mean, by that I am not belittling the other things. Please. I mean, I have got the honor. But the thing is that you might have marked, and I must congratulate Archana also. You know, I mean, role of a moderator is to extract the best. You have got a very little time, and you have to extract the best of that individual. And she was doing it excellently well. So, standing ovation to these young achievers and the moderator. Thank you.
appreciate করছন্তি ম্যাডাম দেখিলে really nice
I invite everybody to come up to the dais for the group picture along with the awardees. Let it have a grand one. Please, all of